So why don't we do a quick recap of last time as we usually do, and then we'll get rolling. So last sesh, kind of a big event happened. We finally found the secret entrance into Blackstaff Castle, and kind of continued to pursue after Lena Orweaver, as we were trying to figure out a little bit more of what her diabolical plan was with this disease, and ultimately with Jackson back in Wadep City. On the way, you actually were able to free and rescue the captured Lord Sonara Morholm, who shared with you she believes she was captured because Lena was trying to fill her seat with Jackson. And she had basically tortured her and kidnapped her and stored her in this prison cell beneath the castle. On the way up, you also were able to discover the cure, which you put in a water skin and eventually gave to Firo on your way back up to the castle. As you kind of found the secret spiraling staircase that rotated up into the castle and took you into the secret area that kind of branched off into different areas of Blackstaff Castle, Firo and Sonara decided it was probably better if they took Sonara out because she was already on the verge of death. And they escaped using the emergency exit, along with the cure, instructions on how to use it, and to go find either Jethro or Fenrisha back at the Temple of the Saviors to see if they could administer the cure to as many people as possible. Once inside the temple, you kind of deliberated for a little bit on what you wanted to do next and where you were going, and you all agreed you wanted to go directly after Lena. And after deciding what might be the best way to do that, you chose to go to the area that was marked her chambers. And after you tried to unsuccessfully sneak in, she caught you. Basically had a long discussion with you at the dining table. You accidentally let slip the existence of confirming her belief in the existence of the Urzat Sarai, although you never necessarily named her. And then combat basically ensued, in which she damn near killed all of you with some very strong magic. I think you weren't expecting. And you were fortunate enough to kind of get in below her guard as she tried to flee, and killed her with some pretty devastating rogue stabby sneakies. When she died, troublingly enough, her body was sucked into this kind of deep miasma-like smoke, and all you heard was this kind of diabolical laughter from all around you. Creeped out, but still curious to see if you could learn more from the inside of her chambers, you discovered several letters, one addressed to the captain of the Blackstaff Guard, one from Valdru to Lena, one addressed to the Forward Motion Solutions owners, and another one to the Font of Ogma, asking for questions to be answered. You took a little bit of a rest, realizing that the Blackstaff chambers were actually sealed and probably pretty safe. After a little bit longer, kind of recovering some of your health, you decided to go back down the secret stairway and then exited out of the castle. And you found yourselves outside on the ground out of via a secret entrance, and you were basically in a little spot between the castle walls and the shores of Lake Celadrine. And so that's where we'll pick up today. In fact, let me get that up. Burp, so that we can see some of it. Burp. Okay. So you are in Castleton, the city of whom the ruler you just murdered. And you are, if you look at where number one is, that's Blackstaff Castle essentially. And where the wall is all the way to the right, there is a little bit of land between the shores of the lake and where you are. As you kind of survey what's around you, can I have all of you roll a perception check for me?
Wait, so are we by the water, or are we in kind of near the number where number one is?
You're near the water, so all the way to the east side where that wall is. You are, think that there's maybe about 10 or 15 feet between the wall, the door you just snuck out of, and the actual shores of the lake.
Gotcha.
Okay, Rowena is the only one who really notices this. Actually, I'll roll for Dent too, now that I'm thinking about it. Dent. because he is with you.
Is Firo back with us, or is he going back to the?
No, he's gone. Firo and Sonara are nowhere to be seen at this particular point. Den, perception check. Let's see how you do. Your perception is not strong. Not terrible. All right. So still, Rowena is really the only person who kind of notices this. Dent can probably make out a little bit of what that is, though. But off to the south, you do see that there are wooden docks stretching into the lake water. They are dimly lit. There are a few torches around, but you can just make out maybe about 100 feet in front of you. There are two shapes, and they seem to be guards because you can catch some glint off of their armor and their helmets that they're wearing. And you can just barely hear a little bit of what they're saying, but it's a little hard to make out from this distance. You catch, though, that they don't seem, especially with the helmets that they're wearing, they don't seem to be Lordless Crown members. They seem to actually be Blackstaff guardsmen. And you can see with that role, Rowena, you can see that they actually do have the symbol of the black castle with the black orb above it, indicating that they are, in fact, Blackstaff guardsmen. You can tell that they're talking, and they seem to be kind of purposely trying to speak secretly, based on the tones that you can kind of make out in their body language, but you can't quite tell what they're making from this distance. Just so you kind of have decisions on what you can do, because you can kind of go in all directions. You do have a map of Castleton. You got it from earlier. So you know pretty well where you are in accordance with the city. So above you is kind of the Promenade Plaza. That's a very highfalutin shopping area and like residential area on the shoreline. You can see the rest of the city as well. There is a way to get into the city from here if you wanted to. You would just have to kind of hug the wall of the castle. Or you can investigate what's going on with these guards. Kind of up to you where you want to go.
I don't know if we could get out of meeting up with these Blackstaff guards, other than maybe intel on Jackson. If that's what we're looking for.
I don't think we need any of that.
Yeah. I also feel like we did the short rest, so I'm a little bit better, but I'm not at like full hit points. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like we shouldn't try to get immediately into any sort of confrontation.
Did we short rest? Or
I agree.
Long rest? Oh, we did a short rest, right? Sorry.
So I guess head up to the plaza is probably my vote. I mean, unless... So I guess asking Rowena, but having the DM confirm this, were there any boats at the dock? I forget if you said.
There are boats that you can kind of see. Bloop, bloop. But to get to the boats, the only boats that are accessible would mean to get past the guards. You get the sense the guards' job here is to guard these boats. Can I actually have, now that you've kind of explained that to everyone, I want everyone to roll just a straight intelligence check. Just use your intelligence ability score. I want to see if anyone can piece together a couple of things. So not Zunis. Rowena might save the day again, though.
Is that on your skill, or is
it's in your abilities up at the very
top? Yeah. I think I actually accidentally rolled a saving throw.
Oh yeah.
Now that I see it, it's next. It's in between Constitution.
Wait, it won't let me roll the dice for it though.
Above intelligence, where you see intelligence. Yep, you're right. It should say INT. It's just there's one up on top.
Oh, there we go. I had to hit the number. Gotcha.
Oh, definitely not Ivo.
Ouch.
So
I love that Nate has like inside jokes with our rolls.
Correct. So Rowena could definitely piece this together pretty easily, which makes sense for your mastery of intrigue. These are the first Blackstaff guards you've seen, and that's strange. The only people that you've noticed that Rowena has used so far, or sorry, that Lena had used to guard the castle or to do her bidding, were the Lordless.
Huh. Okay, so I relay this to the team, and I let them know that this might mean, I mean, if I had to guess, maybe they weren't loyal to Lena, or they don't have. I'm sure they know about her, but perhaps they don't have any particular special knowledge of her. So, I mean, we could wait. Is Celadrine Lake? That's the same lake we went into a few sessions ago.
Correct. Yeah. So Celadrine
Okay.
Lake, if you think about it, is basically one. It's a huge lake. It's giant, but it's also it's what separates the Temple of the Saviors on the eastern side of the lake, and Castleton, that's on the western side of the lake.
Right. So we could try and get some boats. We could see what's up with these guards if we're thinking they're not particularly loyal to Lena, and try and get some boats and go back on the lake. But I also don't want to overtax Ivo or anybody else.
Well, let's think this through then, because we could use boats to get us back across the lake. But how, other than just attacking these guards and forcefully taking the boats, is there any other way we could commandeer them?
Bribery, my friend.
Bit of coin.
What do you have to bribe?
Yeah, we got a lot of gold.
A lot of gold?
We have a lot of
Gold.
money. I mean, we never spend our money. We're very expensive.
I almost spent a lot of his money last time.
I bought some nice glasses.
Oh, the binoculars.
Another important question: do any of us know how to sail? Or are we just planning to throw a rope around Zunis and have him pull us across?
I vote for that.
I have no
Well,
sailing
Are they
abilities.
are they
that I'm
sailboats?
aware of.
What kind of boat are we talking about?
Or yeah, are they rowboats?
Is anyone proficient in ocean faring or seafaring boats? Let's see.
No.
I just want to see if you could tell what kind of boats they are. You could tell right away.
We've been doing this for a year. It's never come up.
There are no like big sailboats. I would say you're all savvy enough to know that. No proficiencies there. No proficiencies there. Ivo, well, Zunis, you would probably know. You've got some land ability, and Dent would probably know. He's got some land ability. So there's definitely no like big sailboats. You can tell that there are some boats that have like a singular mast, although it's not large. So some of them maybe are wind powered, but most seem to be pretty small little fishing boats that are powered either by rowing or like a very small sail. But they wouldn't be there. None of them are particularly large boats. You're not sure if like what you can see is like the big cargo ships that would be here. And you also, Rowena would know this too, like Celadrine Lake isn't a big trading port, right? The lake is meant mostly for fishing and particular resourcing from that. It's not for like trade.
How long
So
would it take
we
us to get across the lake?
Hard to say. You'd probably fathom at least a couple hours. Like at minimum, maybe more. Actually, I
I
should
cut you
probably
off.
pull it up.
Yeah. Rowena.
So, oh no, you're fine. So we could row across the lake. Alternately, we could also check out the Fount of Ogma because they had written to Lena. Although that might be equally dangerous, if not more so.
Oh.
You still have that letter? What did they say?
Let me check.
If you need it, I think I have all of them. I did update the recaps too, so if you have access to that real quick, they should be in there as well. But
Yes, I did read the recap. She wanted to meet with them ASAP. And also, one of the letters was from Captain Eder of the Blackstaff Guard, so maybe I might have been totally wrong about that. She might have.
The letter with the Blackstaff Captain Eder, was asking for his resignation.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm right. Maybe she was getting rid of all of them to put in the Lordless Guard.
Yeah, it was basically politely asking
and
him to rid himself of the area.
Yeah. So that could be promising if we talk to the guards, because they might not be friends of hers, or we could go to the Fount of Ogma. But I don't think we're really clear on their relationship, right?
Yeah, you don't really get it 100%. Do this though. Roll an insight check. I'll see if I can give you some more clues based on what you're kind of surmising so far. So I think it's a fair thing to think through. You've got a few cues. I'll see if I can What did we get? Sorry, I don't have it up. Yeah, probably not enough to really tell more than what you've already garnered.
Well, if I have a fair amount of insight, maybe I'm right about the Blackstaff guards.
Do you want to try to get a little
tiny bit
closer?
risky.
You could try and just sneak up a little bit more and try to hear what they're saying. That's an option too.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you want to
Shall we
go sneak
sneak?
up on them?
You're the sneakiest.
I'll stay
Oh
behind.
yeah, I'll lead. I'll lead the way. Zunis, can you heal Ivo at all, or are you all tapped out on that?
Good question. Let me check the healing points.
Left two.
I believe I have 7 healing points.
7 hit points. Oh,
Lay on hands.
so that's
Healing power.
Yeah, you've got 7 more points there. Let me see if you used all your spells. I mean, it looks like you
How
still
many
got
points are
spells
you at?
available.
Cure wounds.
Mm-hmm. You could do a first level
Yeah.
cure wounds too, and the 7. So if you wanted to do both, you could.
I'll do a cure wounds for you, Iva, so we can go battle these bros. Just
we're not
faster.
battling yet. We're just seeing how they feel
Okay.
about Lena.
how many?
Um,
7 hit points.
He's cold-blooded.
Prepping.
I'll give you 4 of those, and to cast a spell. Does just hitting cast do the trick, or do I?
You
do
got
I
it
need to hit the
Yep.
1d.
exactly the
The
1d8 plus 3.
1d8 plus 3.
Yeah, so you got to hit cast
there we go.
and the thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is 5. I'm assuming healing points
Mhm.
for Ivo, and I will also, my friend, give you 4 lay on hands. So I'm at 3. Confirm. And so you can up yourself 9 points.
Oh, nice.
Nice. So you should be at what 26 now, Ivo? I have the math on that right.
20. Well, shoot. I slowly added it because I thought I was only getting a couple. I started at 19, and you're giving me
So you're
9,
28 then.
so I'm at 28.
28.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yep.
Cool beans. All right.
Thank you, Zunis.
That's all
Well done, Zunis.
Yeah,
what
Zuni.
am I here for, guys? Hey, you're welcome.
Zena's from Jersey now.
Scrounger came.
Forget
came back.
about it.
I was gonna say I missed Scrounger.
All right. So Rowena, if you're trying to sneak up, can you roll a stealth check for me?
Yep. I'm just turning off my camera because my computer moves so slowly.
Oh yeah, all good.
Ooh.
Nice. Yeah, you're invisible. You are one with the night.
Shit.
So I'll say you managed to get like right up next to him, almost behind, like just a few feet away without them really noticing. And they are really kind of absorbed into this conversation that they're having with each other. And you can hear pretty loud as day what they're saying to one another. And one of them is kind of, what you overhear is, I'm sick of all these lordless crown just coming all over the place thinking they could do whatever they want. I'm not sure what Lena's game plan here is, but it's time for this to stop. And the other one kind of nods and gruffs and doesn't really say anything back. Listen, I know that it's not really safe to say this, but I think we really need to start thinking about what the other guardsmen were doing. It's probably time to and like you hear a noise off in the distance, and they both kind of like quickly look at each other, and the other one kind of pipes in and shares. Listen, it's not safe to talk here. We'll do this at the Stone's Shadow. And the other one looks back and says, "The castle stands." And the other one says back to him, "The castle stands." And they kind of like go back about guarding the ships, kind of stand upright, walk down the docks a little bit. And off in the distance, you can see 2 more shapes kind of walking, not really towards them, but off a ways, maybe just about 30, 40 feet more into the distance. And those seem to be Lordless Crown walking off.
Ooh, okay. Can I sneak back to my group?
Yeah, totally. So you're back
Alright.
with the party.
All right, so I apprised them of everything I heard, and I let them know that it seems we were right about them being sick of the Lordless, and it seems like some of the guards might be going to the Stone Shadow. And actually, Ivo, that's about what I was thinking too. It sounds like a tavern or bar of some sort. So...
It's the new hip joint. New York Times #1 new bar in the city.
Would I know where the Stone Shadow was, DM?
Roll a history check.
Okay.
Not a clue. You've never heard it before.
Must be new. Okay, so team, what do you want to do?
So they walked away? Is that how it ended?
They didn't so much walk away as they kind of like re-stiffened up and stopped like chatting and kind of separated. One walked down the dock a little bit. One kind of stayed at the post. They're still with relatively close near you. You were just so sneaky they had no real notice of you. But they're still within, that 60 to 100 feet of where you are.
Gotcha. So they're still like on patrol. So it seems like I don't think anything that Rowena divulged to us really changes the plan. I mean, if we still want to move forward with it, I think we're able to, and try to see if we could persuade or bribe them to let us have a boat. If it all else fails, I have some more hit points now, so we can battle. But unless you think we want to roam around the town a little bit more around Castleton to try to find out where this new hip joint is that all the kids are talking about, the Stone Shadow.
Seems a
see
little
if there's any more information
just
there.
going on the boats.
Seems more productive than what, Zunis?
Than just taking a boat without any real destination.
I agree, and we could use allies if we're to kill Jackson and take Wadep. I mean, don't forget, Lena said that Jackson is bent on Yaren-wide domination and not just Wadep. And he's certainly well-funded and has a lot of friends with both the Lordless and Forward Motion Solutions. So it can't hurt us to get the guards on the side, but I'm down for alternate plans. My fear I'm also down to check out the Font of Agma, but my fear is that sounds vaguely sinister. So I don't know if we'd be leading ourselves. At least with the guards, we know they're sort of predisposed to dislike Lena.
Rowena, you would definitely know what the Font of Agma is. It's a pretty well-known district of Castleton, and it's Agma is the god of knowledge. The district is kind of like University Row in a way. There's a lot of temples there, libraries that one celebrate Agma because he's kind of the chief deity of knowledge, but other gods in the knowledge domain in that kind of sphere also have temples and shrines there. None of the savior gods are really considered malicious or malevolent. So it's not so much ominous as neutral, if anything. And it's really more of a scholarly area where you can get information from.
Oh, okay. So it's like Tempe.
Something like that.
I was about to say, where's the Mill Avenue?
It might be there. Maybe
really
that's
being around the bush.
That's right. Maybe that's where this cool hit bar is. Which, by the way, if you do figure out what it is, I'm really excited.
Figure out what the Stone Shadow is?
The reference is very not far off.
Matt, did you go to bars on Mill Avenue?
Did you
Q
go?
Club.
Yeah, did you do the Q Club? Like
Occasionally. I had a really awkward night when I went with Lenny and her fiance Todd at the time.
Oh god, did you just go to a Q Club or like Robbie Fox's and the rest?
Oh, of course I went to Robbie. Absolutely. But I was more of a Four Peaks kind of guy.
I do like Four Peaks when we went there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Four Peaks is
yeah.
sick. But enough of that. I'm here to D&D.
All
So
your bar
Lena,
hopping in game. What was that, Rowena?
Lena wanted to meet ASAP with the Font of Agma, so what could she want with them? Perhaps further legitimacy. What do you guys think? What should we do?
I think that sounds like the way to go. Move towards the Font of Agma. it doesn't seem like we have a really great reason to return across the lake right now, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we might.
I agree. I think in a perfect world, we've already sent the cure, the vaccine, let's call it, very very trendy topic nowadays, across the lake to hopefully cure a bunch of people. So like that's already kind of happening. So there's nothing that really matters. I like your little helper, Nate.
He's my future DM. I'm just teaching him.
There's nothing that we really benefit from immediately going back across the lake. So I think let's investigate a little bit more now and know we could always come back and see these guards and commandeer a boat the best we can.
Right. And for all we know, Valdrew is still at large and might be trying to put plans in motion to unleash the next wave of the plague or what have you.
I was anticipating if we got on the boat, we'd literally be doing Jaws tonight. So pass on that because we haven't met the shark yet.
That is true. We haven't had a shark battle.
And the shark is still
what kind of
looming.
episode do we want this to be?
Zunis, what is it? Why are you so transfixed with this shark?
I'm a fish man, dude. I've lived among them in fear for years.
Zunis, are you like the old guys, the old character in Jaws who scratches the chalkboard with his fingers? You're like, I gotta go take him.
I've seen it all.
Tell us more about this fear you've lived in, Zunis. What have they taken from you?
Well, I mean, anytime I go near the water, I have to take into account that there's probably predators looming, and you guys are just bait. I'm thinking about my friends. It's a selfless act.
Very kind.
I mean, I could see us on a boat that we have very little experience in, and we're not well equipped, and then all of a sudden a shark comes and battles us, and they're in their element. Clayton's back, or Ivo's back down to 6 hit points. Let's go to the Font of Agua.
I mean, I would say though that because there seems to be a lot of boats in these docks and they use them frequently, I feel like sharks aren't often just destroying boats. I think if that was the case, they just would.
That was the case. Keep us going for 2 hours.
That's my. I think you get my point. But let's go inland a little bit. Let's go in the town.
Fair. I was just wondering what the narrative would be should we go in the water since we were.
How about this, Zunis? You just why don't you just start swimming? You go in the water. You can swim. Come back and find us when you're done.
Take some laps. Nah, I'm cool. Let's go to Font of Agua.
Perfect.
And if anybody asks for students, that's what I also say when I'm filming without a permit.
Clever.
Real quick, I guess, DM via Rowena, do we know what Hawkholm is?
You do know what Hawkholm is. In fact, I can probably send you some more information about all of those things. But Hawkholm, if I can get to it here, is basically a residential space outside of the city wall. And so it's not quite as affluent as some of the other areas on the northern side of Castleton. It is kind of growing in that, but it's like a upper middle class residential area right outside of the city walls. You do know it is called Hawkholm because there is a huge hawkhead statue kind of near the roadway that leads up into Castleton. A lot of the cities and buildings were built around that. But yeah, it's mostly a residential area.
Gotcha. Okay.
To Agma.
All right. So if you guys are trying to sneak around the castle wall, I need everyone to roll a stealth check for me to see if you can get by without the guards noticing.
Ooh! It's my lucky day.
Indeed. Might be everyone's lucky day. So far, so good. Let's see how Thad does. I don't know if he stepped off.
Coming in hot,
Oh,
one
there we go.
sec.
No rush. All good. Oh, I got to roll for Dent, too. Jesus. Come here, Dent. Dent. Stealth. Stealth. He's got disadvantage on it, too.
The Space Jam 2 trailer better be good.
Yeah.
Ooh, really, Dent did not help you. That disadvantage was not great.
Oh, and I have disadvantage as well.
You do. Do you want to roll again, see if you get worse than a 6?
I did not.
It's all right. Well, Dent did. So one of you failed. Wasn't too hard to get around there, but you had to get more than a 5. So, as you walk around the building, Dent's kind of more logical, straight up approach. He just walks by, doesn't think he needs to like hide himself or anything. Fortunately enough, he's got his hood and cowl pulled on, so not everyone can see that he's a fucking robot. But the guards do take notice of you and see you walking around the side, and the one who is gruffly talking to his other person says, "Hey, what are you doing over there?"
Oh, we're just exchange students. A little lost. We're new to Castleton.
How did you get over on that side of the castle? There's no access over there.
I have no idea. We got all turned around.
Roll a
It's
deception
a
check for me.
research project.
Roll a deception check for me at advantage because Zunis is helping you. He's buying into this plot. All right.
That's as good as it's gonna get, I think.
Yeah, probably
Yep.
so.
Oh God. Ugh.
Well, I guess that's right. Where are you studying? Maybe I can help you get there.
You Ogma, go Hawks.
Roll a deception check at disadvantage.
Wait,
Oh,
where
no,
did Hawk Homebrew go Hawks?
I don't know. I was just looking at what animals were on the map. Ooh.
thought-
Don't worry, I have a plan after this.
I don't know if that's a joke, but again, you shouldn't be on that side of the castle. I'm gonna have to check it out. You guys come with us. We'll just go do some paperwork.
Wait, DM, these are the Blackstaff guards?
These are the Blackstaff guards.
How many?
I
guards
don't
are
think
there?
you want to do that.
Why? That sounds a lot like a threat.
It's not a threat. I think we can be mutually beneficial to each other. I'm guessing you're not too much a fan of the Lordless.
Roll a persuasion check for me. Depends on who's asking and what you know.
Let's just say someone who also has reason to dislike the Lordless, and especially reason to dislike Mr. Reasonder.
If we're talking about that highfalutin Ponce Jackson, we don't really care so much for him either. But I don't know what you're getting at. So if you've got a point to make, you should make it. And the other guard who's like kind of come up now, kind of butts him with the back of the spear, and kind of reminds him like, "Hey, there's other people around. We need to be more subtle about this."
Perhaps we should go someplace a little safer to talk. Maybe the stone. What was it called? The Stone Shadow.
Shadow.
And his eyes get like really drilled in. Roll a persuasion check again. I want to just see where this goes. I don't know if you know, but eavesdropping on people's conversations is not exactly safe. So you better start talking. You better start talking quickly before this escalates to something you don't want it to. And there's already more of you than us, so we're already on edge.
There's no need to be on edge. We're on your side, trust me.
I have no reason to yet. You haven't said anything that has.
You might want to check on... Oh, God, am I doing this? You might want to check on the well-being of Lena Orbweaver.
Listen, lady. I don't think you realize what it takes to be a guardsman. We're not exactly versed and intrigued in sabotage. So if you've got something to say, you need to come out and say it.
Alright, bitch, I'm Rowena Stormwind.
He kind of drops his guard a little bit.
Whoa.
Kind of like sits back.
And she's going back to school.
I'm getting my groove back. And he kind of looks at the other person. You can kind of see them both, based on this conversation, almost loosen up a little bit. I see. My guess is the captain's probably going to want to meet you. Do you know where the stone shadow is?
No, it was built after I left.
So not only do you not know where it is, but you don't know what it is. Listen here.
I assume a bar?
It's a special kind of bar. It's one of those speakeasies that not a lot of people know about. It's real hipster, I guess is what the young kids say. But it's just for the guard. It's a little bit of a military bar. But there's an inn not that far from here. It's called the Stone Shadow. If you knock at the back door, looks like it's going into the kitchens, and just say the castle stands. You'll find what you're looking for. Now get out of here quickly because their patrol's coming quick.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The other one kind of grabs him by the scruff and goes, "We got to get back," and they like move back into that direction.
Well done.
Thanks. Sorry I overplayed my hand a bit, but there didn't seem to be any other way.
Couldn't agree more.
Shall we go to the Stone Shadow?
Does the castle stand?
Yeah, that really worked out.
Let's
Go
roll, baby.
Hawks.
All right. So you go Hawks.
Make sure we aren't being followed.
Oh, how'd you know? Agma U, what a good place. It's a great school. Oh, they got a solid business degree. It's great. It's a little fratty, but it's fine. In either case, so you do kind of go and follow the directions of this guardsman who was kind of pointing you where to go, and it's basically like tucked in into the corner wall on the far western side of the castle keep wall. So if you look, kind of like where the walls of the castle are, directly on that western wall. In that far corner right before Promenade Plaza is where it is. In fact, I don't know why I'm just making my life easier for you. Here where I circled is basically where the stone's shadow is. Or sorry, the stone's throw is. And as you go through, it is from the outside, even at this time of night, because it's probably like 9:30, 10 p.m. It seems to be a pretty raucous place. The doors are open, the windows are open, you can see lights going on, there's music from inside. And as you enter, it's popping. Like there are people in there carousing. There's drinking going around. People are throwing things. It's definitely a very military-driven bunch of people here. You are immediately concerned because as you start to approach, you actually see two Lordless members walk out. That being said, you are very fortunate. They are piss drunk. And just walk by you stumbling with a little fuck those guys, and they just keep going on.
What's up? Let's go in.
Yeah.
Classic font of Agma, dude.
So you do go in.
Brings me right back to college.
It's a relatively basic tavern. I mean, it's not meant to be really anything more I mean, I wouldn't even say it's an inn. It's definitely more of like a, hey, this is a tavern. Like it's got one long bar that runs across the whole back wall. The tables, like people aren't even sitting at them. Most of them are standing on them or like they're flipped over. It's pretty nuts what drunken soldiers will do. But you're looking at it. There is a bard in the corner on a bit of a stage, just singing body tunes. It's great. But you do see that there is a door in the back behind the bar. You have to kind of get around it to get to that door.
Let's sneak our way around.
Cool. So you
let's
start.
go knock.
You start going in that direction, and as you go, the barkeep kind of looks over at you and just like stares at you expectantly.
The castle stands.
I would keep that to yourself, till you're a little closer to the door, whoever you are.
Yeah, Rowena, we have to knock first.
Oh, right.
You can't say this to everybody.
And he kind of like
First
sidles
time
up.
to bar.
He kind of sidles up a little bit closer to you, and he's like, "Are you gonna get a drink first?"
Oh, this is like a comedy show. Yes, I will take a gin and tonic, and Zunis here will have a salt water, and then, and then the other two can have whatever they want.
roll just a straight charisma check. Just let's see how good your personality flies here.
What's wrong with my personality?
Nothing. I just want to see if there is anything wrong with your personality.
10.
Well, I can make you an ale or some wine.
Oh, I'll take a wine.
Great. He kind of like passes down a wooden goblet and an ale for your friends. Okay.
2 ales, please.
Sure. Kind of slides one down as well, and then again stares at you all expectantly.
Oh, and then how much do we owe you, sir?
Why don't you decide?
Oh boy, it's one of these.
What are you, a Radiohead album in 2007?
Whoa.
How about, let's see, I have 580 silver. How about 20 silver?
Kind of raises an eyebrow and goes, "Clearly you're new, but that's fine." And he pockets it all and walks off.
Okay, should I subtract that from my...
You should.
Okay. Wow, Wadap has really gentrified.
Wait, Rowena, how much did you tip him?
What's wrong with 20 silver for a drink? 4 drinks? How many drinks did we get?
You got the sense he wasn't asking for money for the drinks.
Oh. What was he asking for?
Roll an insight check.
Ugh,
Well, hopefully he's not going to go blow our cover now.
Yeah.
Roll an insight check.
But I gave him lots of money.
Yeah, you get the sense that anyone approaches that door, people keep an eye on.
Oh, well, did I give him too little?
You're not sure with that insight check.
Can I chase after him? And...
Oh, he left. Let's go to the door.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just go.
That's already finished one of his ales, and he's working on the other. He's like, "I'm drunk."
And Thad has his soldier background too. You know, he fought in quite a few wars. He was a medic. So his kind of when you hang out with like old friends from your past, it like comes back to you. You slip into that same.
That's right.
That's what happens.
Actually, that's a really good call out, Thad. You would actually know this too about the Blackstaff Guard. So almost every major guard organization trains their guards either at the Noble Hand in the Temple of Helm in Tharvan or at other like Helm-based temples. The Blackstaff Guard is one of the few military organizations that don't do that. And they have a long tradition of like actually training their own guardsmen in military might here in Castleton, specifically because they train them around siege warfare, that kind of stuff. Some of the things that wouldn't be specialties of like Helm and the Noble Hand. But that might be an interesting tidbit as you consider their loyalties.
Is there any contentiousness between like their perception of Helm?
Not necessarily contentiousness. It's more like the Marines versus the Army, where they might think they're a little bit more specially trained, maybe better suited to certain types of combat or more elite. And helmsmen kind of think the same. Like they're these snobs who really can't do much else but like sit in a castle all day and they're a little posh.
Mm-hmm. Thad kind of puffs up his chest, but and gives a nod to Ivo, and then makes for the door, goes to knock.
So you do knock, and from the back end, you hear. Sorry, I just totally blanked on what their call response was. Oh yeah. What do we wait for?
The castle stands.
And you just hear, and the door kind of opens just a crack.
No.
Yeah, we all enter.
So you do open up.
We're all going?
Are you all going? Just so I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So you all go up, and as you open, you do see that it kind of leads into a back room. And at first it does look like it might just be a small kitchen. But as you kind of walk in, you can see around the corner some people walking outwards. And if you kind of follow around the corner, you'll actually see that there is a much larger space back there with tables set up. It's not near as raucous. There's only a few people kind of seated here. And these are all Blackstaff guardsmen expressly, and they seem to be like more of the upper echelon of the guardsmen. They're wearing more metal armor. You can kind of see that their symbol and imagery is more like decorated, and a lot of them are kind of talking to each other. As you walk in, they all notice this group of people they do not recognize, and immediately they like stop talking. They're all looking at you, and it's a little tense because many of them have their hands on their weapons at their hips or trying to like grab them from the table, just kind of waiting. There's only about maybe 10 or 15 people here, so you all kind of stick out a bit like a thorson.
At ease, gentlemen. I've heard of this place from guards by the riverfront, the lakefront. I am Rowena Stormwind, and we are here to assist you.
One of them, kind of near the back, is a little struck. The other ones don't necessarily recognize exactly what that means, and they're a little freaked out that you're here. But there is one in the back kind of stands up and says, "Come sit down."
Does he appear to be of any particular rank or, stature in comparison to the rest of the clientele?
Again, this one doesn't seem like he's unique from the others. He does seem to have a rank higher than the guardsman you saw at the lake. But this one doesn't seem to be, if you're thinking he's the captain, he doesn't seem to be like the top rank based on what he's wearing alone.
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to look for the captain.
Yeah, looking around, you don't see anyone that would like strike you as like this is the captain.
You should join him.
All right. Should we go talk to this guy?
Came all this way.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So you guys sit down at the table, and he kind of seats you down and looks across from you. And he kind of like looks back over your shoulder at the person who was kind of manning the door switch, and you see him press it back closed and lock it. And he kind of shouts over his shoulder, And he says, make sure someone knows the captain's on his way. And he kind of sits you down and he goes, good evening. This is a bit of a surprise. I am Lieutenant Corning. And what the hell are you doing here?
It's a long story.
Okay. As you can tell, the door is locked.
We are a group of, well, first of all, do you know the Stormwinds? I'll start there.
I do.
Okay, so do you know who I am?
I know you should be dead.
But I'm not.
So you say.
I mean, I'm alive. I'm here. We're a group of scrappy adventurers who met on Searle. And we've gone through a series of many happenings. We believe our mission is ultimately to strengthen, literally and figuratively, the makeup of Yaren. However, we find ourselves here in my ancestral land, partly by coincidence, but as we've ended up here, I realize it's truly my calling to end things with my murderous ex-fiancé and take him to task once and for all for what he did to my family. However, as I'm sure you know, he's quite powerful. Therefore, I was happy through some machinations today to find that you and your Blackstaff guards also felt similarly towards him as I do.
And how exactly do you think we feel?
Well, I know at least some of your rank and file don't like the Lordless and don't like Jackson, and perhaps even if you don't feel that way personally, the strength of that feeling is strong enough in your membership.
I won't deny it. We have long been concerned for whatever Lena has been planning with the Lordless here. None of us appreciate that they are clearly meant to replace us. We don't know what that means for the long-term stability of Castleton. Truth be told, we could give a shit less about Jackson or whatever he's doing in the city. What we care about is here and what Lena is doing to our town and our people.
I don't think you'll have to worry about Lena anymore, but you may have to worry about people like her.
I'm going to need you to speak plainly on what that means, because that's a pretty big insinuation.
I murdered Lena some hours ago in her own bedchamber.
And he kind of like stares back and looks up. And as you say that, from behind you, you can see that there are two people walking in. One is just like the typical rank and file Blackstaff guardsman that you see. The other, though, is like relatively solid looking human man. In his kind of crook of his elbow is a helmet with a pretty big plume on it. This metal helmet with this black plume sticking out of it. His livery is very well adorned. He's got like a huge symbol of Blackstaff Castle on his emblazoned on his chest. And in front of you, Lieutenant Corning says, "This is more of a conversation for the captain." And as he kind of like says that, he stands up, and everybody in the room stands up and salutes, and they all at once say, "The castle stands." He kind of like nods to everyone, repeats, "The castle stands," and then everyone sits back down, and he sits at the table where Lieutenant Corning was sitting, and Lieutenant Corning is now standing behind him, and who you now understand to be Captain Eder, sits down, stares at all of you for what feels like an eternity, as he's just kind of trying to suss out what exactly you're doing here. And he pauses for a moment and says, "Well, that's quite the rumor that you're sharing with my men here. So I'm gonna need to know how you can prove she's gone, and I'm gonna need know a little bit more about why you did that."
I'm afraid I can't prove it physically because her body quickly vanished into the ether, and in any case, we wouldn't have taken it with us. However, I know who you are because I saw a letter on her desk demanding your resignation. I saw several other letters as well, including her demanding to meet with the Font of Agma and a love letter to Jackson. Also, I know you probably don't trust them any more than you trust me, but the rest of my team can attest to these happenings.
I may be able to prove this to you.
I'm waiting.
And Thad produces the mirror of the past and gives it to the lieutenant and says, "Think of Lena and look."
He does that and kind of looks at it. And he sees a few things. Some things that seem to surprise him even more than maybe her death. And he's kind of quizzically looking at it and kind of sliding it back. He just stares at you again, stares at all of you. Kind of looks back at Lieutenant Corning. He says, "Rally the others. We need to be in the building quickly before they find out. Tell them." And they all, and like 5 or 6 of the guardsmen, haul ass out of the building to go and do whatever they were about to do. I need to know everything. Right now. Nothing held back.
Where should we begin?
Well, first off, why did you kill her? Second off, what are your hopes? Third off, what the fuck are you gonna do now?
Why did I kill her? Well, she was allied with the man who killed my father and is holding my family captive. And she seemed to love him and show no remorse about it. Besides, the two of them are hell-bent on domination of Wadep and perhaps all of Yaren. She confessed to that herself.
Yeah, we expected as much. We knew something wasn't right when she started paying for those fucking idiots.
The Lordless?
Yeah. No one around here likes their kind. We can do everything they can do and better. The only reason she would want to bring anybody else in is to start worrying about loyalty. She knows we all appreciated what her father did here before he passed.
And we found that she had kidnapped Lord Sonara and held her in the basement underneath the temple.
That was something else we thought was strange. We knew they were doing weird things, so they were holding off the other ends of the basement from us. Is she safe?
Oh, yeah, we got her to safety with another member of our team. Plus, I forgot the most important part. She and Jackson have been disseminating the virus and planning on withholding the cure until the opportune moment.
I don't know anything about a virus.
Oh.
They've been testing it across the lake and planned to spread it across the rest of the world as soon as it proved to be deadly enough.
Yeah, something more vile is going on. You need to find yourselves to a safe place. There's going to be some fighting here pretty soon. I've sent my men into the castle to see if we can hold it and drive out the rest of the Lordless that are there. We don't know if that butcher is still in the building, but if he is, we're going to kill him.
Which butcher? Jackson?
Valdrew.
No, the
Valdrew.
Valdrew, the butcher.
I'm very Jackson.
Oh, I mean, we've had our scraps with Valdrew in the past. Couldn't we be of assistance to your team?
Kind of looks at all of you. Truth be told, you all look a little worse for wear. We'd take it when we could if you're up for it, but it's going to be pretty heavy. We don't know if we can contain it to the castle either. The Loyalists are patrolling other parts of the city as well. Most of my rank and file have been, for the most part, depleted. They've been at home, lazy and fat for however many months now.
Ivo, can you take a battle right now?
His hit points are up.
Yeah, I just want to check.
I could give you a bit more healing if it would help. How's everybody else doing?
I'm
I'm
fine.
at 29.
I'm at 24.
I think I need to get to. I need to get some more, maybe another short rest.
Captain.
We can rest for an hour and then go try to help, but
Yeah, can you delay attacking anyone?
If they find out the news of this first, they'll take seats. We need to move now. I've already told them to start this. We can't wait for anyone. My men are strong enough. We can handle that.
I'll cure some wounds on Ivo.
Nice. Yeah, if I could just get
7
a little bit
points.
more. 7 hit points? Oh, man.
7 hit points.
I am now up to go
35.
35.
35, baby.
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
got a few more of those.
Yeah, I feel good. You know, I had an ale, so I kind of am a little bit little loose.
Little buzz.
I got a little buzz going. I'm not thinking completely straight. Yeah, let's do it. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to be a part of this, then I would say you meet us at the gates to the castle within the next 10 minutes. We're rallying with our forces there. We've already sent missives to the people that are inside the castle to take whatever people in positions they can.
How many men do you have? How many are left?
Fighting in fighting form right now, maybe less than 80 in total in the city. People that I can muster, probably about 100, 200.
And how many lords do you think are in the city?
Yeah.
In the city total, I'm not sure. But full fighting force, probably about 100.
Are we concerned at all that they might fly in on a forward motion solutions charter?
Well, I did see the founders were at the castle not long ago. I know they were supposed to be meeting with her this evening from what I saw, but I don't know if that meeting ever took place. It was only the 2 of them, though, that were in the castle. I know 3 of them were told to come. So I'm not sure.
I'm assuming I'm kind of sitting next to Rowena or near her, so I want to kind of like lean in and whisper to her, just be like, do we have anything to gain from helping them?
I just feel guilty that I put them in this spot by killing Lena. However, I agree that we might get mixed up into this. It's, on the one hand, it would be nice to rid ourselves of Voldrew, and
we gain allies.
and gain out. I mean, and that was my whole thing. I want to gain these people's trust. But on the other hand, I don't want to risk any of your lives. And perhaps while Wadep is distracted with a large battle here, we might be able to wreak some havoc elsewhere. So what do you think, Ivo, and everybody?
Well,
I feel like we'd look pretty bad if we just dipped right now.
I feel like as long as we have an end goal, and if we have them as an alliance, we need to, but we need to state that before we actually join forces with them.
I agree. So
we are kind of volunteering out of nowhere too.
Well, Captain, I would like to state on behalf of my team that, of course, I've gotten your guards into this position by slaying Lena, but I would like to assure ourselves of an alliance further down the line, since I do want to kill Jackson and, take Wadep. So, is that something you could do for us if we're of any help in this battle?
Roll a persuasion check.
You can do it, Rowena.
Ooh.
Truth be told, you've already done the hardest part for us, something that we hoped we wouldn't have to do, and truth be told, I didn't know if I had the stomach to do it. But with her gone, as you say, I guess for now, my first concern is making sure Castleton is safe, and that we establish new leadership. I'm willing to offer aid in the future. Truth be told, we don't need you in this fight. We were expecting one with the Lordless and have already built enough for it. My fear is that it leaks out into the streets and innocents are harmed. Our goal is to keep it contained to the castle.
I think perhaps with our... I'm no mage myself, but we have some magic people here. And with our fighting prowess, I think we can be of help.
Then I might have a mission for you specifically.
All right. Let's hear it.
As I said, I'm trying to make sure that our general population and the innocents in all of this stay safe. However, there are many lordless that are roaming the streets, probably in excess of at least 30 to 50 at this point in night. I need to make sure they're taken care of quickly, and they cannot rally at the castle. Would you be willing to go, and he kind of chuckles a little bit, hunting?
I'm willing.
Ed slams the rest of his beer and I'm willing as well.
Good.
Zunis cracks his knuckles and says, "It's hunting season, boys."
Do fish have knuckles?
Or they're just like
Cracks his gills.
webbed touches
Knuckles,
together.
yeah.
Really, you're just a blue elf with like slightly sweatier skin. That's really all it is. It's great.
And no knuckles.
It's just cartilage here. So he says, as he kind of gets you to buy in, I've got enough men focused in the southern end of the city to handle whatever's coming up from that side, and enough men within the castle and who I can muster there quickly. Lieutenant Corning is skilled in certain things. He can handle that portion for us, and quite frankly, I don't know if you're ready to face Valdrew with a full contingent of other lordless behind him. If you could, up near Promenade Plaza and the other markets, that's probably where I need the most help right now and where I don't have enough men to really guard in from the north. The northern gate is probably where I would need you to go find the most and make sure no lordless are able to get through. There's a secret entrance around back. It takes you to the other side of the wall and right into the promenade where no one would expect. I would start there.
Let's go. And Captain, where can we find you again if all is well in this battle?
Hopefully, in the throne room.
Great. All right, let's do it. Let's go, team.
Alrighty,
Promenade
friends.
Plaza.
To the plaza.
So, let's just pause there for a quick moment. Anyone need to take a bio break or anything while we switch over to kind of the next portion of all this? It's going to be a little unique.
Yeah,
I could do that,
need
yeah.
my break.
Sure.
Okay.
Grab some water.
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10. Either one's good. I'm just gonna get a couple of different maps kind of pulled up and just get the rest of the particular endeavor going.
Awesome. For you.
I'm trying out my new ring light.
How about that light on Anna, guys?
It's funny. Maggie actually just got a ring light too, because the vanity lights upstairs that we had like jerry rigged finally went out, so we just bought a ring light up there, so she likes it.
It seems like
Yeah, I
something
finally sprung for one.
2007 for one of our shoots.
It was really funny. I was telling her about it too. Like back in the day when like blogging really was big, like a ring light was expensive as shit. Like they were all like $150 at least. And now you just get one on Amazon for like $20.
Yeah, mine was $20.
Yeah, see.
It's weird how certain things depreciate in value, though. Like,
I don't even necessarily know if it's depreciation or just like basically
it's just so widely available.
Exactly. Like the markets see that there's this use for it. It starts off this really high, extra nice thing that people start buying more and more of. And then the way that these companies start getting in there is they just basically outsource the manufacturing of it and then lower the price. And really at a point where it's all doing the same thing, there's no real big difference in quality anymore. So like, may as well just buy the cheap one because it does the same thing as the expensive one.
I mean, but why lower the price if we don't even know?
It's just
unless I guess the supply and demand.
That's it. That's
everyone
all it is. Yeah.
They're just like, fuck it. If it's $20, everyone will buy it.
Correct.
It costs $4 to make, so screw it.
Exactly. And they're not like the ring lights they used to be making, where like they were like these giant metal constructions that weighed 1 billion pounds and like didn't have really solid LEDs in them. You know, now they're all pretty good, and it's not hard to get like a good ring strip in there. Alrighty. We'll give Ivo a minute to reconvene, and then I'm going to explain a little bit.
I've got to snag one of those. By the way.
I am back.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I'm going to explain a little bit of what our hunting journey is going to look like. We're going to do something I don't think we've done before, and that's what's called a skill challenge. And we're going to do a few of them. And basically what it is I'm going to give you a scenario, and each of you has to decide what skill you want to use in that scenario to try to overcome the obstacle or the challenge that you have. And then you make a roll, and basically it's going to be out of 5 rolls. Although we've got we can probably make 5 rolls happen. And then out of 5 rolls, if 3 of them succeed, the challenge is a success. If 3 of them fail, it's a failure, and then certain things might happen based on which way they go. So it'll make more sense as we start getting into it. But what I want you to start thinking about is what the different skills can do, and how you want to narrate what your character is going to try to do in this moment. You see that Captain Eder has kind of told you where the secret entrance is, and you've seen kind of the hole in the wall that you can escape to out into a small tunnel. It's not very big, but you get the sense this building almost butts up exactly to where the big wall is on the northern perimeter. You see that it kind of leads out into a bit of the moonlight on the other side, and you go out into the other area. You exit into what you believe to be like Promenade Plaza, because you can see the buildings here are really well built. A lot of them are gated. There's like wonderful wrought iron fences. There's shops. This seems like a very affluent area, which would make sense with where geographically you are. This is probably Promenade Plaza. Off in the distance, you don't see very many people out. This isn't like the carousing area and like hangout spot of Castleton. This is more of the classy area where people might go to dinner at a nice restaurant or be at home and relax. So there's not very many people on the street. But about 80 feet in front of you, you can see that there are 2 Lordless Crown mercenaries seemingly patrolling between the buildings. And they're almost like walking up an alley and then back out an alley and then up an alley and back up, back into the street, kind of checking through these little spaces to see if anybody's there, or just like going through and clearing the spaces between them. They are staying closely together. There's not a lot of torchlight in this space. Some of the buildings in the center have some light, so it's dim, you can see, but the moon is pretty bright right now, and very strangely for Wadep, it is not raining, so you can see pretty clearly. I want to know a little bit of what you guys kind of want to do here, and then how you want to go after these folks.
So we're not fighting with any of our new allies.
It's just you. Yeah, he sent you on this mission.
At the northernmost part of Promenade Plaza, and there's 2 guards there.
Let me put it on the map here. So you guys are basically, I'll mark it in this yellow. You guys are like right here. Just on the other side of the wall.
And this is the gate entrance he wanted us to kind of protect, right?
The gate is over here.
Okay, so we're kind of on the way.
Seems like we should. Yeah, seems like we should dispatch these guys as swiftly and stealthily as possible.
Can I have everyone roll an initiative check for me? I've got a 8. Rowena got a 16. And Zunis got a 2. Okay.
You don't have to.
Was that too much judgment for you? Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let's have Thad go first. Thad, you see these 2 Lordless Crown off in the distance. What kinds of things would you like to do to just try and dispatch them quickly?
I'd probably like to cast some spells to put a buff on our group.
Okay. I would like you to roll. Are you trying to cast this particular spell?
I think I would just probably give guidance to Ivo to increase his stealth a little bit.
Okay. Alrighty. I feel good about that. That one I won't make you do a check for. We'll just say automatic success because you're just doing guidance. Ivo, you've got these guys off in the distance. What would you like to do?
So remind me, they're kind of, are they walking in the middle of the street, or they're kind of along the buildings as they go along and checking the alleyways and whatnot?
They're kind of closer to the building than less in the center of the street.
Let me just look through my equipment really quick. I don't know if I have anything too creative, but let me take a quick look. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would like to get as close as possible to them.
Okay.
And then I don't feel like I can get right next to them because obviously they'd be alerted, but I don't think I kind of would just be like a little bit stealthy walking towards them, not drawing any suspicion, but when I could get, within maybe a 35 feet or so radius.
Gotcha. Are you just trying to walk like casually, or are you trying to not be noticed at all?
Want to just walk casually, like I'm just a dude strolling down the street. But when I get a little bit close to them, I want to take out my crossbow.
Gotcha. Okay, then I would like you to
take a shot.
I would like you to roll. I'll let you choose either a deception check or a performance check, whichever one you think you'd be able to pull off better.
Well, let's see. What am I better at? I'm the same, +2 on both. Ivo, though, would be better at deception, though.
All right,
so let's go with that. Here we go.
Sorry, mine froze. What happened?
Ivo is Thad first cast guidance on Ivo, which actually you can roll an extra D4 if you'd like to use it on this.
Okay.
For perfect. So 19. Actually there it is. Okay, so 18. So you do end up like walking casually on the street. They don't think you're a threat, and you get within about 20 feet of them pretty easily without them really making a fuss about your presence. So I'll say that's another success. That puts us at, who else was on there? Actually I went in the wrong order, but that's fine. We'll just keep going. Rowena, your go. You've got these two guards kind of up ahead. Ivo has kind of been buffed by Thad, and he's gotten a little bit closer to them within firing range of his crossbow. What would you like to do?
Am I in any sort of firing range?
You could. I mean, they're only about 100 feet away from you, and like your short bow, I think, it has that range. It's just a little, a little dark and a little far. If you miss, it won't be great.
Right, and I don't want to mess up Ivo and Thad's plan. How does it work for the kind of battle we're doing now? I was thinking, for my poison, don't I have to cause myself to bleed first to equip my weapon?
Correct. Mechanically, though, as long as you are not at full health, you can activate it.
Oh, okay. Cool. Can I equip my... let's see, what do I want to do? Is it possible to equip my short bow with the poison?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll allow that one.
All right. I'd like to do that.
Okay. Alrighty. Can I have you... let's just have you roll a stealth check because you're trying to do that from behind the scenes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, perfect. So definitely another success there. So that's 3 successes out of 5 of the necessary checks. Zunas, just so I know, any flavor you want to add before this kind of releases?
Still more than like 10 feet away.
Oh yeah, you're like 100 feet away. Like
I
60
don't really have anything that I can really do, so...
So you see your kind of compatriots start to level up and try to sneakily get to these folks. Ivo, as you get close to them, you're kind of in range, and they look back at you and kind of give you like one of these little nods. you keep walking. They kind of look off as they turn around. As soon as they turn around to go back down another alleyway, you kind of like get that crossbow off of your back and just lip it up and just fire. And they hear that thwink as one like turns around to try to understand what just happened. The bolt goes right through the side of his temple and just poof, he collapses to the ground. The other one starts to yell, but Rowena was already ready with her longbow, and her just poof, hits it as soon as he also just opens his mouth. And as he opens his mouth to scream, the arrow pierces right through his throat, and you see this just like poisonous fluid start to flow out. They both drop immediately.
Nice.
Nice shot, Rowena.
Thank you.
All right, so that's 2 down. As we're here in this kind of area, Promenade Plaza, there are other spaces in here. If you'd like to explore some of the buildings, or you can keep hunting, kind of up to you where you'd like to go in the city, where you think they might be next.
We probably should make our way to the gate, right? Or I guess we could check by the... Is there a gate over to Area 5, the Promenade Plaza, where we are, or...
Not a gate, just that secret entrance that actually gets you into the Stone Shadow, little speakeasy.
Oh, I see.
Well, I think we should continue on to the gate we're supposed to protect, but along the way, do we know? I mean, obviously our goal is to like protect the general population. Would there be anywhere that there might be just people congregating, or like a town space or something like that? Like that. Look, I see there's kind of like an opening there, kind of near where our yellow little dot is.
There would be a few. In Promenade Plaza, there probably wouldn't be any big congregations, but there are some big restaurants and taverns in the kind of the courtyard of Promenade Plaza, that kind of big empty space right where the 5 is. In that area where 6 is, which is basically a big market, it's called Broken Statue Market. Most of the shops there would pretty much be closed at this time of night. And so there wouldn't be a lot of activity expected in that space. But you assume that at the gate there would be guards.
Okay. I think then, feeling like it is at night and most people should be home, or there's no like general area, we should just kind of head towards the gate we're supposed to guard, unless anyone wants to go anywhere else.
It's good with me.
Yep.
All right, so you guys kind of start walking through the city, a little bit on the prowl to see if there are any other patrols that are going through. It's maybe been about another 10, 15 minutes. And off in the distance, you hear like shouting, and you're not sure what's going on. It's up in front of you, and at first you're a little concerned the alarm has been raised. But then you notice the shouting doesn't seem to be from like guardsmen raising an alarm. It seems to be someone crying for help. It's like around a bit of a corner. So like if you're walking down a relatively small street heading towards the gate, it seems to be behind a couple buildings. You can't quite see where the scream came from. You're just hearing a younger voice scream help.
Shit.
Should we go check this out?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
go
head
check
that
that
way.
out.
So you round the corner, and as you round the corner, kind of down the way a little bit, you actually see that there is a young man being kind of lifted up by the collar of his shirt by two people, and these people actually seem to be Lordless Crown mercenaries. You can actually see that the one kind of lifting him up is like this really burly woman who's just kind of like spitting in his face, and she says, "You said you were going to pay us last week. You haven't been around this time, have you?" And so they're yelling, and he's kind of screaming off. And she says, "Listen, my buddies are right around the corner. I don't know where yours are or who you're screaming for, but it's probably not going to help. So I just suggest you hand over the money that you owe us." So we'll take the same initiative count. Thad, that puts you up at the top of the order. What would you like to do to try to handle this, if anything?
How far away are these folks?
Not very. Probably 30 feet, maybe 40. You get the sense if they turn around, they're going to be able to see you, although it's not very bright in this space.
Let's see. So if I use, should I be looking for things where I would foreseeably have to do a check?
You could.
Or yeah.
I would say don't worry so much about like combat rules, but like think about what Thad would want to do in this moment. Would Thad want to like charge in and get in the way? Would he yell at them and like command them to stop? Would he just start throwing punches and like wrecking people? And then basically on what you narrate, I can ask for a check if you don't have a thing you want to do specifically.
Okay. Thad would probably let's see. He would shout to them to try to tell them to drop the youth.
Roll an intimidation check.
Okay.
And then we'll do something a little backwards here, but that's okay. Okay, what do you say to them?
I say, "Hey, you fuckers, drop that kid."
So my thinking was if you said something really intimidating, I was going to lower the DC, but it was okay. So the woman kind of like still holds him, and she kind of like spits on the ground, and she tells her compatriots, "Did you get these fuckers out of here?" And so one starts walking towards you, kind of like sword, scimitar in hand, ready to go. As he walks up to you, we're going to consider that one failure. So that'll bring us then to Rowena. You see this also transgressing. What would you like to do to handle this situation?
I too would like to shout something intimidating, and then I would like to shoot at them with my short bow.
So let's separate that out a little bit. Let's have you do an intimidation check as well.
Okay. Do you need me to improvise something?
I would love you to.
Okay. There's a special place in hell for people who beat up defenseless children after you've thrown your lot in with the disgusting mercenary who runs this country.
All right, let's see what you get.
Oh!
So they're all just laughing. And he says, you kind of hear around the corner, you hear, "Baps! You hear this fucking nonsense?" And so now two other ones start walking around the corner. There are now 4 Lordless Crown that have walked out of the corner. That's going to bring us to Ivo. What would you like to do to address this growing concern happening in front of us?
So there's
Turn this
5
around for us,
total.
Ivo.
There's 5 total lordless.
There's 4 total Lordless right now.
Okay, it's 4 total,
That you
and
can
then
see.
one still has the youth, as Thad called him.
Correct. The youth just
Still
kind of held
punching
up. Mm-hmm.
Well, what do I want to do? So we've been trying to intimidate them, and that really hasn't worked out.
It has not.
Shit. What can we do? I don't know. So we're in like a street, right? Or did we go down an alleyway?
It's not quite a street. It's not quite an alley. It's just like a small in between 2 houses.
Gotcha.
But like you're not like on the sides of the houses. Like you can see the house fronts, like the doors.
What do I want to do? I feel like if we just keep trying to intimidate them, they're just gonna keep laughing at us.
Yeah, they're already like moving in on you. You don't know if that's gonna work.
Shit. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just. How far away are they?
About 30 feet. Although now the one of them that was approaching you is probably within 10 or 15.
So I'm gonna just move on in. So if he's only 10 or 15 feet away, I'm gonna move on in and just take my shadow spike to him.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna have you roll just an attack roll.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so that's one success. So as he kind of approaches you, you're just like, fuck this, and you just whack, and this guy just melts in half.
Nice.
As that happens, the other one kind of sees this going out of the corner of their eye, and you just hear, what the fuck? And that will bring us to Zunis's turn. Zunis, what would you like to do, sir?
I said, why don't you come fight some real men and fish? And then I fucking crack my knuckles again, and I beat my chest, and I take out my greatsword, and I start swinging it wildly.
All right. I'm going to have you do a performance check. Just see if this is compelling enough to get their attention, because I think that's what you're trying to do.
I mean, if you give me that much time to wait, I'm going to think about what I'm going to do.
I mean, it was good. I appreciated it. I'm definitely lowering the DC for it, so that's good. Hey! All right, 2 successes. Yeah, they all look at this, and finally they're just like, what the fuck are these people doing? As that happens, you actually see the little like kid that was like, get off me, help. Somehow pulled out a shiv or a knife or something and just stuck it right in between the ribs of this woman that was holding him up, who like now steps back and just collapses to the floor, like struggling to breathe. You think she hit her lung. As she lands on the ground struggling to breathe, you now notice this isn't a youth, this is a halfling, and he's fucking pissed. He just kicks her straight in the face. She's unconscious, and he just charges down the alley away from the rest of them. The other 2 are trying to stop him, but we'll say that brings it to Dent's turn. Dent is having none of this, and he just does what he is good at doing and flings a fucking fireball at one of them. So I'm just going to have him roll an Arcana check. See how he does. Great success. 15. And so one of them just like is engulfed in flames now as this fireball kind of catches the other one. And one is starting to try to turn and make a run for it. But before he can go, all of you are already on top of him. I'll say because Thad went first, Thad just like charged through and like took down Helm's Retribution and just cracked this dude's skull. And so you have killed these particular lordless. And as you've kind of like spattered their brains and body parts around this corner, you do hear from afar, from around the corner, did you get all of them now? Are they gone?
Halfling, is that you?
Well, that's a weird thing to call someone, but yeah, that's me. That's what I am.
What's your name, sir?
Ben? Well, it's Benna, but only my mom calls me Benna.
Benna Levy.
Did you know that's Ben's nickname?
Is it Benna? I didn't know that, but I'm really glad I went with it then.
My dad. It's very weird.
Now I want to try to like do a Ben impression, but I don't think I can.
Oh, Anna does what?
I wouldn't do it on the live stream.
We are not live, just so you know. I am recording it though, but I'm not live.
Benna, sir, it's nice to meet you. How do you know where else the Lordless hang out? Is there any way we can help you with anything?
Roll a persuasion check. And actually, I want to see if Benna knows something. Oh, he does.
Yeah.
This is just a hunch, but... And he starts talking to you in Thieves' Cant. I think I've seen you before.
Why do you think that?
You're with us too, aren't you? And he makes a symbol that you recognize as a gesture for the shadow.
Oh yeah, and I make it back to him.
I knew I liked the look of you guys. This is my people. And he's like completely letting his guard down now. He's puffing out his chest. He's like, listen, you really helped me with the score here on this one, okay? I don't know, they would have caught me otherwise, but I just bet a huge pull. And he's like pulling out like gems and shit out of his pocket. He's got like a couple of like fucking things in his other pocket, like bracelets and necklaces and jewelry. He's like, listen, there's more in this fucking house. I'm just marking it for later, so I think just do us all a favor and just not take the score I already had dibs on. The old lady died a week ago and no one's cleared out the shit yet.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Well, no, she's gone. They took her body. I'm just saying the kids haven't come back for anything yet. That's gross. I'm not a grave robber yet.
Yeah, no judgment. You know, we all do what we have to do to survive. Listen, we'll stay away from your loot if you tell us where we can find more lordless. We want to kill them.
I don't know, but I saw a few of them running off towards the gate. Something big was going on. I don't know what's happening. Not more than a few minutes ago. Honestly, they grabbed me as soon as I saw them run off. So, you guys just came out of fucking nowhere, and I'm really glad you did.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else we should know about getting around this part of town? I'm from Wadep originally, but.
Well, I mean, if you're from the city, you probably know we've got little places everywhere. You know, you can go if you need a place to hide out. Up near the broken statue, there's a little secret cellar to a building we've had for a while. It looks like an old apartment building for rent. First floor, second door.
First floor, second door. Great. Thank you, Ben. You've been invaluable.
I mean, if you ever need someone stolen from, you know where to look.
Thank you.
And he kind of hauls back off into the building, not giving up his score, and runs off. But 4 more lordless down, kind of persuading this area. You do get the sense, though, that something is pulling them towards the gate and into the city. So you feel like you need to move a little bit quicker. So you guys are kind of hauling back towards that gate, trying to get there in a fast way, trying to haul back towards it. As you're running, you do hear the sounds of other footsteps in other kind of roadways and things. Nothing on the roadway that you're on now, but you get the sense you are running in the same direction as other people, and it is likely other lordless. Can I have everyone just roll a survival check for me?
Bad rolls.
Zunis, I think, had a pretty decent one, though. So you can actually tell, a pretty good estimate of how many people are probably running based on what you're hearing. It's likely at least 10, maybe a dozen or more footed soldiers just hauling in the same direction as you. They seem to be just one street over. Though, and you do think, just looking around, you might be able to get on the rooftop of a building or something and maybe see them, or sneak around a corner and try and get behind them if you kind of like slow your pace to follow. Or if you want to hurry up, you might be able to get to the gate before this group approaches. Kind of up to you on what your strategy is here. I'll let you guys decide that, but you can tell there's probably at least a dozen or so heading towards the gate. And I'll say now at this point, with how far you've gotten, you are probably somewhere, I'll mark it in red, in like this vicinity.
Do we want to send some? Do we want to kind of divide and conquer and send some people up on the roof, and to kind of track them and see if they can see these people while the rest of us stay on foot? On the ground, I mean.
Works for me.
Who's going?
Yeah.
Who wants to get up and who wants to take high road? Who wants to take low road? Basically,
I feel like
Low
we all
road.
have. Yeah, I feel like maybe Thad and Zunis on the ground, and myself and Rowena. And maybe does Dent have a attack like a crossbow or anything like long range?
yeah, he's got spells that he can cast.
Okay. Why don't myself, Dent, and Rowena, if we can make it on the roof, let's do that. And I'm assuming
We might be
the
able
end
to-
that it's kind of like one of those. It's like we can see they're all connected, right? And we can just see we can travel along the roof for a while, right?
Yeah. They're close enough together that at in this area you could hop from roof to roof for a pretty good distance. It might not get you all the way to the gate, but you get the sense you could tail whatever's on the opposite end of this, looking at these rooftops.
Okay.
The bigger
So I
challenge
think-
would be, how are you going to get up there? You'd either have to scale the walls or find another way to climb it, or like break into the building and go up. It's kind of up to you. I'll let you decide. But how you're going to get up, a 30-foot to 60-foot building is going to be the bigger challenge.
Are there any fire escapes down the alleyway by chance?
Roll a perception check.
While I'm doing that, Thad, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, what about unlocked doors as well? Like, are there? Is it a single row of houses, or is it a wall? What's between us and them?
It's basically like a row of houses. The way the houses are though, and like in this market area, they're like a lot of them. The first floors are shops or some type of shopfront or storefront, and the houses here that are here aren't really like homes. They're more like apartments or flats. So each level might be separated by its own set of locks based on what you can see from the outside. Some of the bigger ones might be connected. Ivo, with that perception check, you really can't tell much. The stonework you think you could climb if you were, athletic enough or acrobatic enough. Without too much difficulty, you think you could scale it. It just might take a little bit of time, and it might slow you down. Ivo, to answer, or Thad, to answer your question, you probably doubt there are any locked doors on the bottom floor, but you can see that there are windows on every floor that you might be able to break into or sneak into, kind of how you want to handle that.
I can always break in with my thieves' tools as well.
Very true.
I think that we don't want to delay too much of our time. Why don't Rowena? Why don't we all stop real quick? And Rowena, if you want to try to, if we feel that there's a building we see that we get the sense that we might be able to easily kind of it's 2-story, and we can maybe enter it in, and then through a window or something like that, jump up onto the roof. Maybe you want to try like breaking into that, and if no success, maybe we'll just stick to the ground. But let's give it a shot to at least try to get some of us on the roof.
Yeah, works for me. Or can Dent drop us off on his broom?
Dent can't carry anybody else on his broom anymore after he damaged it, but he could get on the broom if you want him to get up there.
Oh yeah, why don't we send him on ahead to scout out while we figure things out on the ground?
All right, so Dent's gonna go there. I'm gonna have him just do a stealth check. Did not do.
I always forget about the broom.
Good, just so you know, he rolled a 2, and he's not particularly fancy. So he does kind of like, and you swear you hear the broom sputtering because it's still kind of like damaged and broken from going through the chimney into Celadrine Lake. And he's kind of like, and as he gets up there, you hear him yell back, "Yeah, I see them." And you guys are just like, fucking A. So one failure.
So let's forget the roof option. Let's all keep heading to the gate.
There's like 15! Is that useful information?
I have a few different things we could do here. As kind of diversions. I have a fog cloud that could protect us. I also have a gust of wind and a wall of water that could potentially separate us from them in this kind of moment when they're onto us.
Yeah, you think with some of the information of what you've seen and what you've heard, like if you guys hustle, you might be able to get in front of them and do some magical shenaniganery or like cut them off at the pass or something. That's certainly possible.
Kind of want to do the gust of wind because I feel like the fog cloud could fuck us up too.
So what's the game plan with the gust of wind? What would you want to do?
Well, if they're approaching us, the gust of wind would push them back 15 feet and give us a bit more leverage as they kind of lose their bearings.
It's not so much they're approaching you, it's that you guys are kind of running in the same direction down 2 parallel roads. But you could like run in front of them and like cut them off and then do like the gust of wind or something. Thad, I interrupted you though. What did you want to do? No thanks. Do you want to get on the broom? Zunis, you want to do that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so are you guys all going together or just Zunis?
We should all go together because I don't want you guys to get gusted by wind.
Yeah. So anyone that wants to go and try to cut off these folks, I need you to roll an athletics check.
Ivo, are we going with Zunis?
Well, I feel like Zunis, are you trying to be like quick and sneaky about this, or do you want like backup with you? Or do you think you could go over and cast the spell and then kind of quickly get out of there?
Basically, I just don't want you to get swept up in the gust.
Right. So I feel like if you're able to
you've
do
gotta
it
be.
yourself, that would be ideal. Unless you feel like you need someone to kind of back you up.
It's not necessarily backup. It's more that I don't want you guys to be affected by it as well.
I think we'll be okay because we're on the opposite side of a row of houses. But I'm running up with you, and if I am given the chance, we'll also cast some spells at him.
All right.
All right, you two go.
I rolled my athletics check.
Perfect. All right. So 11. Yeah, we'll count that. So you guys are able to kind of haul off, and as you turn the corner, you do see you just barely got in front of them, but you did. You were successful. And there's about 15 or so Lordless Crown members of all different species and genders, just like charging, trying to get to the gate. And I refreshed the map. I'm just going to hand draw it. It's going to look gross. Don't be mad at me. I didn't have time to plan this particular encounter. I didn't know this was going to happen. No, it's just going to be a little sloppy. So here's what we're going to do.
Stick figures.
Pretty much. I want that thicker. Can I? Yeah. All right. So. This road here that I'm marking in red is the road the Lordless are running down. In this
Looks
row,
like a hot dog.
That's what I was literally about to put in the chat.
in this row here that's coming in blue is the aisle you were kind of running around from. So you guys have basically gotten in front of them from this side, and that's where Thad and Zunis are. And so you can cast Gust of Wind however you like it. If you wanted to go lengthwise and kind of like block their path, or you can just shoot it right into them and decide how you want it to go.
I kind of want to shoot it right into them since now we're ahead.
Cool.
And then they'll just be pushed back, and then we'll have kind of the first strike because they'll have lost all of their
for sure
wits.
So do me a quick favor. You've already succeeded on getting in front of them, so I'm going to say that this goes off for the most part successfully. I just want to see how damaging it is to them and how many get caught up in it. Since you are a paladin, can you roll a religion check for me to see how successful this spell is? We're going to do that instead of... Nice. Yeah. So you throw it, and just it gets all of them wrapped up in it. They all just go flinging in different directions. They're now kind of scattered to this thing and just forced into the walls. Many of them are dazed. You notice some of them actually like crack their heads open and are either dead or unconscious, at least at this moment. There's probably still about 10 of them starting to get back to their feet, though. So we'll say that's going to end Zunis' turn. We've already done a check for Dent. Let's start at the top again then. Thad, what do you want to do in this moment?
A nice big gout of sacred flames.
Nice. Go ahead. I'll have you do a religion check as well for me. Cool. And I'll just say you just keep like throwing it. You're just like, poof, 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 poof. And you're just seeing several of them pop. Some of the ones were the ones just starting to kind of like get back up and like resume trying to get on their feet. And it's just like this blinding light slams down on them. And they're just erupting at this point. There's only maybe about half of their numbers in total left now. Let's bring it back to Rowena then. You guys were in the other street still. What would you like to do?
So this is a wall between us and them, or it's houses?
Houses. Like houses, apartment buildings, like small apartment buildings, that kind of stuff. Probably not more than about 60 feet, 80 feet tall at the absolute most. More like, it's more like 2 stories, so like 40 to 60 feet.
Okay. Trying to think what I have the best skills for. What I was thinking was that I was going to use my acrobatics to flip up on top of the houses.
Sure. It's possible.
And then attack them from there. But I'm not sure how you think it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just you got to, roll a successful check with your acrobatics to see if you get on the roof fast enough.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, go for it. Actually, that was the success you needed. I had the baseline at 10 for all the setup. So you do manage to get up kind of on top of it there. You've missed most of the action though. and like most of these folks are there, but I'll say you get a shot off and do manage to connect with at least one of them. So now there's about 6 or so kind of down. One is dead by your poisonous arrow, though. Let's do Ivo. What would you like to do, sir?
So, is the only way to get to them either going on the roof or where Thad and Zunis are, or are there any like alleyways or little crawl spaces in between the houses along the way?
They're pretty tight. It would be hard to kind of sneak through that way with some speed. Let's do this, though. Why don't you roll a perception check for me?
Perception check, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's like there's one of the buildings that does have a bit of a gap, just wide enough for you to probably like go through it. It's a little bit full of junk and you've got to kind of run through, but you do get to the other end. And I'll say you kind of end up at the middle here. So here is where Ivo is, and then up on the rooftop back here is Rowena. But you are on the ground floor in the midst of this melee with like just this rampant amount of wind blowing back and forth.
Gotcha. And these and there's like about 10 or so lordless who are still kind of dazed but kind of hanging out there in the street.
Of ones that are still like conscious enough to fight or not dead, there's probably about 6.
Ooh. Okay, but it's super windy, so I probably don't want to go out there, right?
Correct. Yeah, if you walk into it, it'll force you back just like it threw them back.
Well, could I was kind of saving this, but maybe I'll do this now. To confuse them even more,
Mm-hmm.
I want to cast Thaumaturgy.
Sure. And what are you trying to do?
Let's see what my options. Voice booms, flames, no. I'm thinking maybe tremors, but let me see. Instant sound over choice. Roll of thunder, cry of raven, whisper. So it's super windy, so it's probably already pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
Let me cast it for this. Let me do the harmless tremor in the ground. So maybe while they're getting blown around, they're going to be really uneasy as they're walking because they feel the ground move a little bit.
Do you say anything while it's happening to these Lordless Crown members?
Well, it's probably kind of loud, but I'll say, fuck. What's I was thinking something fun, something punny. I'd just say, what's shaking?
That's right out of Mo's book. I feel so good about it.
Yeah.
So you do that, and the ground does start to kind of shake. And the remainder of them kind of feel that, and now they're blown around. Another one trying to stands up and can't get it. He gets sucked up into it and flings out the other side, smack like face first into a wall. Spooks down red. The rest of them feel this earth shaking and see that. And one of them says, "Damn it, it's Ivo! Go!" And they all just like start running in the opposite direction. Get the rest! You hear them start yelling at the rest of them as they're running off away from them. And
How do they know Ivo?
The rest of these start fleeing, and so none of the other lordless are there. But you did hear them say they were going to be trying to get other people here.
Shit.
So the street kind of clears. It is still blowing tons of wind, though. What would you like?
Do they know who all of us? Are they aware of who all of us are?
You don't know that for sure, but you know they definitely know who Ivo is.
They know. Yeah, they know who I am. Well, shoot. All right. Since we took care of that, I guess let's continue on to the gate.
So this road actually leads right to the gate. The gate was pretty much right behind, by just a few dozen feet or so, where Thad and Zunis kind of like got in front of him. So the gate's in sight, and this is one of the main roads that lead to the gate. And you do get the sense that people are going to be charging down this road here pretty soon. So what kinds of things would you like to do to set up defenses, or if not, go after them and go on the offensive, or any other combination of what that you'd like to do. In fact, let's see if I can reset this a bit.
So is the gate, is it like a big wooden door or like a metal like draw kind of thing? Or?
It's basically a right now it's open. The portcullis isn't down. It's not like a time of war, so it's not closed. Usually it is a big closed wooden and like iron hinged like double door. At this time of night, what they normally do is they close one of the doors and leave one of the doors open. At the daytime, both would be open. But right now, one door is closed, one door is open, since it's kind of a peaceful time. No one was expecting any danger. You get the sense that because there aren't any other Lordless on the gate patrol, they've either left that area or you took care of the ones that were guarding it. They were in the street for some reason.
What do you think, guys? Should we? So is it? Is there like a? What am I trying to say? Like a walkway or something above the gate where someone's stationed at it? They could go on top of it.
No one is there currently, but there is like a rampart up there. Yes.
What do you guys think? Should we send a couple people up top and then close the gate and then keep some people on the outside? Or, well, kind of seems dumb.
I would say, we should totally try and close the gate, but maybe everybody either try and be up on the walls or, behind in case people break through.
Yeah. So I think
But I love
close the gate and then go on top. I was thinking people who on the other side of the gate, but let's put everyone on the same side. Close the gate and up on top of it, because since we all have long range weapons or spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
So let's have everyone just roll an athletics check. I want to see if we can get up there fast enough and not get caught with our pants down as these reinforcements are charging through.
Oof.
Okay. So Thad and Zunis, you don't get up there fast enough. I'll say Dent was still on his broom, so he just flew over there pretty easily. Rowena and Ivo, though, you do get it inside in time to get up top. But Thad and Zunis are still below at the door trying to close it as they see a large contingent of these Lordless Crown members start coming from the kind of northern road down straight to the gate. So let's just get a couple battle lines drawn for you here. Burp.
Is Dent on top of the wall?
Dent is above the wall, yes, on the broom still.
Can I shout up to him and encourage him to use one of his turrets?
Yes, you can.
Automated turret.
Which one? You pick.
The one that blows up the most? Shit. I think he has an Eldritch Blast, right?
Yeah, he's got a couple. He's got one that can do just force, basically like a big force cannonball. He's also got a flamethrower, and he also has one that's like a protective shield.
What do y'all think, crew?
Flamethrower.
All right.
Flamethrower sounds good.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna say that he puts the flamethrower there. Thanks for all my scribbles, by the way. I'm really trying to make this accurate for you guys. The blue is the road into the gate, just so you guys know. I don't feel good about it, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you gotta draw fast. Burp, 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 burp. Okay. And then I'm going to say this is the area on top of it where the flamethrower range is. So he's basically protecting a big portion of that walkway with stuff. Okay, so Dent's got that up and ready to go. Anything else anyone would like to do?
No. So Thad and Zunis are down.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to close the. Because I guess I'll shout down to Thad and Zunis, like, no matter what, your job is to close that gate. Like, that's your focus.
You got it, Ivo.
Gate closed.
Hold the door.
Hold the lock. So you do now start seeing Thad and Zunis and the rest of you as you're above. There's probably about 20 or more Lordless Crown members starting to charge down this roadway, really trying to get into you. And I'm realizing that's probably a little bit bigger than scale, but we'll take it for what it's worth. Imagine the road is really as wide as the gate is. So let me see if I can give you some boundary lines that might make a little more sense. Burp. Burp. So like that's basically the perimeter of the road. I did that in black. You guys can't see that. Okay. So that's about the perimeter of the road. Okay, so let's do top of the order then. Thad, you are on the ground floor. You see these people charging in. What would you like to do?
Close the gate.
All right. Do me a favor and roll an athletics check. Okay, so you're starting to get it closed, kind of push. It's a really heavy gate, and closing it by oneself is tough, even for a pretty muscular dwarf like yourself. It is starting to move, but it's not all the way closed yet. An arrow whizzes right by you, and like nicks you in your shoulder. You take 3 points of damage from the arrow cutting into you. Let's go to Rowena then. You are on top of the gate wall, seeing these people charge in. What would you like to do?
I would like to shoot at them with my short bow.
Alrighty. Do me a favor. I'm just going to have you roll an attack roll.
Yeah.
And I'd also like you to roll a dexterity check for me.
Okay. So just the short bow attack roll?
Mm-hmm.
And then dexterity check.
Mm-hmm. Basically, I'm going to see if you hit and how many you hit.
Okay. And then...
Okay. So you kind of get in there, you see a few, and you're only able to get off a couple of arrows. Both of them miss. So let's go to Ivo now.
Okay, sorry, my earbuds died. I heard. So was Thad able to close the gate?
Not all the way yet.
Okay, and then it sounds like Rowena tried to shoot some arrows at the Lordless, and they all missed.
Correct.
Okay. How close are they? The closest one.
The closest one is probably within about 20 feet of the gate at this point.
I gotta just start trying to take them off one by one. So I'll take out my crossbow as well, and I'll go after the whichever one I think is probably the closest one or the one I have the best angle on. Shoot off it.
Then just roll a straight up attack roll for me. Yeah, you do hit, and you able to take one out and kind of cock your next one ready to go. That'll bring us to Dent. Dent is just commanding his flamethrower to just go off as much as possible, and you see a few of the Lordless that don't realize that it's there get taken down by that. So the first few kind of charged in, trying to get an angle through the door that you're trying to close. Just get eviscerated by this flamethrower. The rest who see this though, charge in and try to go for the door instead and try to avoid it. So then let's go to Zunis. That is your turn.
How many are we battling at the moment?
Hard to see all of them, but it's more than 20. Hey Ivo, while you're down, watch that. While you're down, watch that mute for me.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of them though. Like you get the sense this was pretty much every other Lordless that was on the other side of this gate is trying to get to the inner portion of the city, which should clue you in that they have been informed that there is a situation happening at the castle.
All right, I'm gonna do my Moonbeam spell.
Okay.
If I can.
I don't know if you have any second level spell slots left.
It does say I have 0 spell slots.
Yeah, so you can't do Moonbeam.
That would have been so sick.
It would have been. I agree.
I guess if there's someone nearby and we can't close the gate.
Shut the gate. We could. I
Can't
just
we
need
still
help.
close the gate?
I
No?
succeeded on my check, so we just need one more success.
Fuck it, let's
Theoretically.
close that fucking gate.
All right, roll an athletics check, sir. And because Thad's already on it, I'm going to give you an advantage roll. So nailed it. So you are able to close the gate and get the bar down, and the gate is now successfully closed. Let me add more to
Dude,
this
this
Jackson
cracks
Pollock
his
picture
heels
for
again.
you. It is closed. So we'll end up.
Where do we buy a copy of this beautiful print?
Yeah.
I'll
I
save
might
it for you guys.
frame it in
I'll
the
save it.
apartment.
I'll save it. I'll have it ready to go. It'll be a wonderful reminder of our improv tonight. So let's go ahead and go back to the top then. Thad, that brings it back to you. You are now behind this gate as you start seeing it kind of like be pushed on from the backside as people are clearly trying to break into it or break it down, or at least get over it.
See, but it seems like it's holding right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty large gate, and Castleton is named Castleton because it is basically like most of the buildings and homes here are built out of castle stone. The buildings almost seem like they're mini castles in a way, and so everything here is pretty heavily fortified, pretty heavily built, especially in the inner city. It's the reason why it's called Castleton.
I think I would, in this moment, not wanting to abandon my post down below, but still wanting to aid my team. I'd probably cast a little bit more healing over on Ivo.
Okay. What are you casting, and how much are you healing him by?
I would cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
And 1d8 plus 3.
Alrighty. Oh, and speaking of which, Rowena, I forgot to do this because you failed your check. You also got hit with a couple of arrows. You took 6 points of damage. Just a heads up.
Oh, lucky me.
And then Iva goes up by 3. By 4.
4.
I did that wrong. Sorry, my fault. 4.
Wish it was more, Ivo. Sorry.
Guys have been like steadily healing him for a while, though. He's got nothing to complain about. All right, Rowena, that'll bring us back to you. You're still on top of the wall, arrow at the ready, firing down at the lordless charging in. You can now see many of them are like basically right below your feet. Probably about 10 or so are at the gate.
I'd like to try and shoot some more with my short bow.
Alrighty. If you want to shoot more than one, again, I want an attack roll and I want a dexterity check.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. Let's see what that dexterity check. Oh, nice. So yeah, you like now you kind of steadied your nerves and you're there more about it, and you're just you actually take out about 3 or 4 of them. And as that's happening, you kind of feel this sudden amount of heat coming at you, and you're like, fuck. And you're just able to dodge from a fireball that seems like one of their magic casters are casting from the far end as well. Which gives you a little bit of a clue, and is now they're starting to unleash more than just mundane weaponry at you. So let's go to Ivo now. Your turn. What would you like to do?
I would like. I wish I had something to. I wish I had like boulders or something like that to just throw down at them. Because they're mostly right below us now, right?
They're a little bit more spread out now, but there's about after Rowena shot probably about 4 of them. There's about 6 to 7 right below you. They're almost all avoiding the right side though because that flamethrower was really fucking with them. There are, you can see more off in the distance, probably about 30 to 60 feet away from the gate. That's where some of them were shooting arrows and others were casting spells.
Okay. I would like. trying to think how I can kill a bunch of them. I guess I just got to keep going at it with my crossbow. Yeah, let me take. I'm gonna do just again with the crossbow.
Okay.
And let me go for one of the ones who is a little farther away, casting spells or shooting arrows, since the ones below us are still, I would imagine, just trying to break through the door and
Sure.
or the gate, and the gate seems to be holding. So let me go for one of the ones that's farther away.
Cool. Just roll a straight up attack roll with that crossbow for me. Let's see if it hits. Yeah, so you go off and then try to shoot it, and it goes a little bit wide. Not quite enough to get him. But we'll go forward then, and we'll go to Dent, who's just going to angle his flamethrower a bit more. They didn't realize he could do that, so suck a duck, friends. And he just pulls it onto a bunch more of them. And now about 3 or 4 more of them start kind of erupting in this, and the rest of them start to kind of pull back a little bit as they can't quite get there. And you see a lot of them start going off around the other side of the wall as if they're trying to maybe find a different entrance as they're making their way down that direction. More spells are being flung from the back end. These not just like balls of fire, but now these what look to be just like slingshot being thrown at you, but you notice as the slingshot like stone starts getting closer, it's now growing and growing and growing and growing into these like larger cannonball and bigger sized rocks just flinging at the door. Thad and Zunis can feel the door from the other end shake on its hinges as a few of these start to happen repeatedly. That'll end Dent's turn, and then go to Zunis.
You're muted, Matt.
I was on fire there too. I'm going to cast a first level spell, which I can, of command.
Sure.
And I'm going to order these halflings to stop. And the command is halt.
Yeah.
So they can't move, and they are not allowed to take any actions.
Totes. Just do me a favor, roll another religion check for me. Let's see if this goes through the way you want it to.
16.
Yeah, nailed it. So yeah, a few of them do stop, and they just don't move. Dent picks up on this opportunity, seeing that they've stopped, and he just moves the flamethrower on them as well. And a bunch more of them start just, and there's probably only about 3 or 4 of them left, and they're all the casters in the back row, as the gate and more fire and stone are being flung, trying to burst it open. So you've gotten rid of most of the soldiers that were using mundane weaponry. Now it's just the casters that were kind of in the backfield. Thad, your turn, sir.
Thad is going to rush up the steps, the battlements as well, to do some casting of his own.
Run.
And hurl a fireball over towards these guys.
Nice. You said fireball, right?
Yes. Well, technically, I don't. Let's go with a spell that I actually can cast.
Okay.
I'm out of spell slots for that one. Let's go for. Let's do some guiding bolts.
Sure. Yeah. Just so we'll do another just straight religion check on that for me. Actually, what's your religion base? I just want to check one quick thing. Yeah, let's do a just straight religion check. We'll let it fly. Oh yeah, we nailed it. Perfect.
Cool.
So you're just like casting guiding bolt. If you want to just clear out your spell slots and use them, you can. That's up to you. But you definitely nail one of them in the back, and one of the casters just drops. There's no more of those huge like slingshot balls catapulting towards you. Did you want to use more spell slots to get more of them down, or did you just want to use one spell slot?
So I took 1 of 4 down.
You took four down.
Hey, I'll leave some for the rest of the crew.
All right. Then let's go to Rowena. What would you like to do, friend?
I have a rather macabre idea.
Yes, my favorite.
I noticed, and I've alluded to this before, I think. I would like to use the oil that I carry around with me and sprinkle it on the ground / in their direction, and then I would like to use a torch and try and set them on fire.
Okay. So you've got to get the oil pretty far. So I would like you to roll. I'll either allow you to do a, we'll call it either just a straight dexterity roll, or you can do an athletics check, whichever one you'd prefer.
Ooh, okay, that's all right. I'm gonna go with dexterity because I'm better with that.
See what we get. Yeah, you do make it, and the oil does kind of crash a little bit in front of them and starts to seep out. It's not like this huge spread, though. It's probably only about maybe 6 to 7 feet. But you do think you've got enough flames to flick out at least 2 of them, if you could get if the torch lands.
Okay, great. And what do I have to roll for the torch?
I'm gonna have you do another either dexterity check or athletics check.
Okay. I'll have to go dexterity again. Ah.
So you do throw it. It lands just a little short. It's pretty close, but not quite enough to catch it on fire. You do notice that the oil is starting to spread, and it might still catch if things don't stop it from spreading. But as that is happening, you hear one of the casters kind of look back and kind of whisper something. Like you kind of see the body language, and you can't see, he's not focused on the gate anymore. And you start seeing this like glowing line start to appear and like spread open, and you just hear this as like these like hands pull into this space and like pull it apart, and this huge like arm starts jutting out as if they're starting to try and summon something that's going to come out of this thing and start charging at you here pretty soon. But that'll bring us to Ivo's turn first.
Whoa. All right. I got it. I guess I just gotta keep taking my crossbow. Rowena, I had the same idea, but I didn't have any oil or anything like that. So great idea.
Thank you.
Let me just take a crossbow to wherever the nearest bad guy I can hit.
Alrighty. Yeah, just roll to hit for me then. The only ones left are the ones that are in the back and whatever they're trying to bring in.
Yeah, let me try to stop them from summoning this, whatever this thing is. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you try to go for the one that's summoning that dude, and it goes wide. But that'll bring us to Dent's turn. Dent sees what Rowena is doing and also goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." And he's just gonna try and cast a fire bolt at the oil that you threw to see if he can ignite it. See if he hits. Hey, 19. So he does light it, and the flame just starts erupting. Luckily, it was one of the ones that was trying to summon the thing, and the portal starts to close. But you still see one of the arms trying to like crawl out and like force his way out of whatever this thing is. And at first, you see this like giant head that almost looks like this huge overgrown giant kind of poke out of this thing. And as he kind of gets one arm free, he gets another arm in there, and then you see there's actually another head as well. There's 2 of these huge kind of grotesque human-looking faces in a way started to come out of this thing, and it's trying to walk out, but the mage that was opening the spell couldn't hold it, and it just zoop, and this like body of this creature just gets chopped in half, and he falls to the ground, still kind of like sputtering and clawing as he's like there. Those mages are done. The other one seeing this just takes the fuck off, the only one that was left, and runs in the other direction. And as you notice this, you have seen now that lights have started coming on in all of the buildings around you. You see some people have like boarded up windows and closed them. You also see that some people are like screaming from inside as you see this grisly sight in front of you. What would you like to kind of head in whatever direction you would like? The fighting so far has seemed to stop. There don't seem to be any more reinforcements that are on the way. You have successfully stopped them from bringing in whatever giant creature they were planning on bringing in. What would you like to do from here, friends?
And the giant creature is dead?
Oh yeah, he's
And the
like,
giant creature is dead.
it's basically like from the like top of the stomach up to these two heads. In fact, let me see if I can show you. Do I have it here? I might. We'll see. We shall see.
While you're bringing that up, DM, can we, from our like perch on top of the gate, can we see anything else of what's going on back towards the main, like the castle area,
Yeah.
or any other fighting just in the distance?
Yeah, now that you've like taken some time to like, kind of look and see, you can hear the noises of fighting off in the distance. It does seem to all be centered around the castle. You don't really see anything coming from the western side of the town, or any other movement kind of immediately in your vicinity. But you can definitely tell that there is like screaming and fighting and some metal banging on metal, these thunderous booms coming from the direction of the castle. From this vantage point, you can probably see some shapes off in the distance running into each other. But for the most part, it does seem to be centered in the castle. It looks like you guys were successful and Captain Eder was successful in keeping most of the fighting contained to the castle, and you were able to cut off the supply of more Lordless into that area so they didn't get outflanked.
I think we should go look for the apartment that Ben the Halfling told us about, both for a place to rest, and also I'm thinking maybe, I guess Captain Eder was possibly successful, but we're still not 100% sure. We know he was successful in staying in the castle, but not how he fared there, so I don't think we want the Lordless to get a wind of us if we're back in the city walls.
So we'll leave them to their own devices in the castle for now?
Oh, it sounds cowardly when you put it like that. But
No, I feel like I agree with that. We did what he wanted. We stopped we closed the gate and we stopped them from entering this way. So we didn't need to go all the way. And
That's fair. That's fair. Zunis, what do you think?
I feel like this town just saw a lot. I feel bad.
You are 100%
Probably
right
some-
about all of it.
Probably some fathers and children and family members that are going to be very distraught from our shameful actions.
Lots of questions tomorrow.
Probably make ourselves as scarce as possible.
On an equally macabre note and troubling note, the upper half of this creature that I've put on the screen is what you saw coming through. The rest of its body is missing and bleeding out.
Yikes.
wait, so where's the upper half?
The upper half was what got through this portion of portal. The other half, you assume, is wherever the other portal was.
The other portal was.
I like it that a creature this ugly. Is still modest enough to have like some sort of covering of its genitals.
Correct.
What do you think, guys? Should we head to the apartment?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So you are actually in
Yeah.
the broken statue market. Although a lot of people are obviously like freaking out and trying to figure out what's going on. There are just bodies of like Lordless Crown mercenaries covering the floor. Some of them are charred to death. Some of them are just like like skulls bashed in from this gust of wind that like flung him into a wall and things. It's a very battlefield-esque scene that had you guys on the upper hand, thankfully, and no innocent people died that you know of. But it's rather gruesome. But you do manage to go to the safe house that was pointed out, and you do see the markings you recognize, Rowena. And you do find that second door on the first floor. And you are able to kind of enter it. It's unlocked, the first floor, but you do see in the back is a secret marking on the floor on one of the stone tiles, and to lift that up, and there is a ladder that goes down into kind of a darker space. But as you kind of go down a little bit further and go into this darkened space, you see that there is a door with the mark of the deep shadow, and excuse me, there seems to be light coming from behind it.
Let's make our way down there.
So you go down there, and you knock on the door. And we'll kind of share some of those things, but you do get kind of the typical wait, expectation for you to show, you see the little door panel open, and they're waiting for you to show kind of the sign of the shadow, which you do, and they open it up for you and just kind of say welcome, and you are now in another small space with only about 2 or 3 other Thieves Guild members in this area. And I think, just given where everyone's at, how are we feeling on time? Are we good? Do we want to pause there?
I think I
Yeah,
probably
so go
want
out
to
on
pause here. For the
I say
night.
go out on a high note.
So yeah, the last thing that we'll end on is you guys just walk into this space where there are a few other Deep Shadow Thieves Guild members, all kind of seated around a table, and you just hear, "Welcome back," which is the typical greeting whenever you come back. And that's where we'll end it for the night, friends. Nice job.